Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is MOED Katan Daf Dalid. We're actually partway down the Amud at the two dots, which are 20 lines from the top. Let's go back to the Mishnah for a moment, where we learned Mashkin Beis HaShalachan even on Chol HaMoed. The reason is because two conditions have been met in this case. We're speaking about a Beis HaShalachan, a thirsty field which can't sustain itself merely via natural means, via rainwater. It needs constant watering. And watering this Beis HaShalachan keeps it alive, sustains it, and avoids a situation of hefsid, a financial loss. Number two, we're speaking about watering it from a stream that's flowing through, a natural stream, which provides an easily accessible and sustainable water source with minimal tircha and exertion involved. But the Mishnah tells us, you can't use rainwater. You can't draw from a puddle, or take mimei hakilan, water stuck deep down in a water cistern, a water hole. What's wrong with these sources? I understand why not to draw from a mei kilan deep on the ground, because it involves extra tircha, bending all the way down and pulling up that water, and that's not mutar and chol hamoed. But what's wrong with using a rain puddle? There's not much tircha. You're just scooping up some water to water your Beis HaShalachan. We have two tirutzim. Amar below, Amar b'yechon. Gezerah, we're concerned about confusion. Make it shamim. If we allow using puddles, it might lead to something else. Atu mekilan. Next time you might decide, okay, let me go deep down into this kilan, into this cistern, to draw out some water from the depths below, which involves extra tircha. So, according to Rabbi Yehuda, he might confuse this type of water with this type. Rav Ashi Amar, we're not concerned about gzera. A puddle is a puddle, a deep hole is a deep hole, two separate things, no confusion there. However, megishamim gufayu. You know, when you stop drawing water from that puddle, eventually you deplete the puddle. It gets shallower and shallower, and sooner or later, that megishamim gufayu lidei mekilan also is going to turn into a pit, meaning you have to go lower and lower. You have to scrape up the bottom. So it's like a mekilan, which involves extra tircha, and therefore it's us. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, megishamim might lead him to use mekilan. There's a gzera. It might confuse matters. Rav Ashi learns this puddle itself can turn into a sort of a mekilan when the water gets less and less. It'll get deeper and deeper and make it more difficult to draw, which involves too much tircha. Vika miflaki, they're abzera. These two Amirayim. Rabbi Yehuda, who applies gzera, Rav Ashi, who does not, will be arguing regarding Rab Zera's halacha as well. The Amar Zera, Amar Rabba Bar Yirmi, Amar Shmuel. What if we have a pond, a lake, which is not sustained by natural means? It doesn't have its own water source. It's not a spring-fed lake. It's fed by rainwater. And you have Naharas HaMoishchen, Mayim, Min HaAgamim. You have some streams coming forth, flowing from these agamim, from these rainwater ponds or lakes. You can use this water coming from these agamim to water your field on Chol HaMoed. Says the Gemara, Rav Ashi and Rabbi Yehuda will be arguing about this halacha. Why? It would seem that there's nothing wrong, per se. Tons of water flowing forth. There's no concern of tircha. You have a lot of water at the ready. But if you are concerned about gzera, about confusion, you would apply a gzera in this case as well. For instance, Rabbi Yehuda, who says, don't use one type of water because it might lead you to something else. In this case as well, we should have the same concern. This time he's using the naharis that are coming from the agamim. What happens, let's say, if he finds another puddle, another type of thing which involves more tircha? He might confuse things. Or you know what? This flow, this nahar that's coming from the Aga might one day stop. The Aga might dry up. It doesn't have its own natural source of water. Eventually it's going to deplete. So perhaps that will lead him to go and find water elsewhere and go transport with a lot of tircha. So is this mutter or asr? Well, it depends if you hold of gzeira. Mar islay Rab Zera. Rav Ashi, who does not hold of gzeira, you can tell apart, you can differentiate between this type of water and that type of water. You don't mix things up. In this case, he'll say as well, I hold of Rab Zera. You can use this water source, no concern. Umar Leslie the Rab Zera, Rabbi Yechon holds of gzeira. Who will not hold of Rab Zera? We're concerned about confusion. Things might change. He might go and start drawing water and transporting from elsewhere, and transport water at long distances, which involves extra tircha. Gufa, let's review this halacha. Omar Rab Zera, Omar Rabba Bar Yirmi, Omar Shmuel. Naharis hamoshchen mayim min agamim. These streams that are coming from these ponds, muta lahashkes mehen b'chayil shel moed. They can be used in chayil moed to water one's field. Eisvei Rab Yirmi Rab Zera. Rab Yirmi had a kasha. The Mishnah says, "Avaloi mimei geshamim v'loi mimei kilain." You cannot water your field using rainwater puddles, mei geshamim, nor water stuck deep in a pit, mei kilain. Now, let's assume we're not following Rabbi Yechanan's pshat, gezeira. Okay, skip the gezeira. Why then is it asur? Rav Ashi told us, because we're concerned that these puddles might get shallower and shallower, in which case he'll have to dig deeper and deeper, so to speak, and bend his back more and more, which involves more tircha. So how can you allow using the naharis coming from the agamim? Here as well, let's be concerned that perhaps the agam will dry up. Eventually, it's going to get depleted. We're speaking about just rainwater sitting there. Eventually it's going to get used up, and he might be tempted to start scraping the floors and scraping the ground, and it's a tircha to start gathering water that's dispersed in the bottom of that lake. So why is this different than the Mishnah? Omalei, Reb Zera responds to Reb Yirmiyah in an affectionate way. Yirmiyah, bring my son Yirmiyah. Let me explain to you something. Here it's different. Hani agamim de Bavel. Bavel is filled with swamps and streams and lots of water going on there. So these lakes in Bavel, they never get dried up. Kimaya delay paskidami. It's ongoing. There's no depletion. It's not getting dried up. There's no real concern of anything changing on Chol Hamoed. So bottom line is, you can water your field with a maya, water coming from a natural spring, which is not drying up, not getting depleted. There's no concern of depletion and perhaps being prompted to go elsewhere to transport your water over here, which involves great tircha. That's mutter. Don't use puddles. Don't use water deep down on the ground, mea kilain, which involves extra tircha. What's wrong with the puddles? Either it might get deeper and deeper on you, which in effect is a great tircha. It's like mei kilain. That's one pshat. Or kontra b'yechan, there's a gzeira. Today using this, tomorrow you might go use the mei kilain, which involves great tircha. You won't differentiate. Look, this is a water hole. This is a puddle. There's a gzeira, and therefore we say, don't do anything. The nafkamina between the shitas are regarding Rav Zera's case. Nahar is coming from the agamim. We seem to have plenty of water, but eventually the water level might drop, which can involve tircha. The one responds, no, there's not much chance of that happening. Lots of water there. So there's no concern. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't do that. Today he's using this. Tomorrow he might use a different type of system which involves more tircha. Tanu Rabbanan. Hapsekus v'abrechos. Rashi says they're the same thing. A pool of water. So it's not a natural spring. It's just a gathering of water. Shenismalu mayim erev Yom Tov, which happened to fill with water before Yom Tov. Also lahashkas mehen b'chol shel moed. You can't use it in Chol Hamoed. It might draw up on you, in which case you'll be prompted to start looking for water elsewhere, and bring it over with tircha. But let's say you had a natural stream running right through this pool. In this case, you can use the pool water. Why? Because it's constantly fed by that amas hamayim. Amar Papa, v'hu, provided, sheruba shel oisa soda, shoisa ma'isa amas hamayim, that the water coming through this stream, through this irrigation system, can supply your entire field. So, at the worst case scenario, the pool dries up, you have plenty of water to supply your entire field's needs. Rashi Amar, no, afal pish ein ruba shel oisa soda, shoisa. Even if this amas hamayim independently cannot supply your entire field at once, there's no concern. There's no concern that he'll be tempted to go elsewhere and schlep water over here. Why? Since the stream is just going and going, it's a constantly flowing water source. Meimu Amar, the farmer will think to himself, look, I'm not desperate. I'll take care of it tomorrow. If this amas hamayim can't supply the entire field's needs in one day, tishti litrei, it will drink, it will be watered in 2 or 3 days. So he's not anxious, he's not desperate. So he has something to back up on. So therefore, in this case, you can use the breicha to supply your field, because you have a amas hamayim coming through. That's a dependable water source coming from a natural spring or whatever, and in this case, he'll just wait it out, and he won't do tircha to bring extra water. You have a pool which is dripping. So let's say he has 2 fields that are both beis hashalachim, these thirsty fields. He has them on 2 levels, an upper field and a lower field. The upper field happens to have a natural mayan, a spring, supplying its water needs. Now when he waters the upper field, which is allowed to, it happens to drip down. It spills over and drips into a pool which is next to the lower level, the lower beis hashalachim. Says the Brisa, this breicha shenatefas mayim misod beis hashalachim zu, this pool which receives that drip from the upper field and now fills with water, mutar lahashkes mimenu sod beis hashalachim acheres. You can use that water to supply the lower field, to water the lower beis hashalachim. Why? Because it's a dependable water source. The upper field is supplying it, and the upper field has its own internal water source, that mayan, that spring. How can you depend on this drip? It's going to stop eventually. In which case, he'll be stuck in the middle of the job and he'll start getting water from far away with tircha. Rabbi Yirmiyah was speaking va'adayin hi metaftefes. Look, it's still dripping. While it's still dripping, you can use that pool. Amar Abaye, who provided shaloi pasak, mayan rishon, the spring supplying the upper level, is still alive, still producing. In which case, you're assured that you'll have a constant supply of water for the lower field as well. Tanya, Reb Shimon ben Nasser, shti arugos, you have 2 patches of vegetables, zulam al mizu, one above the other, on 2 levels. Lo yidle min atachtoina v'yashke es elyon. He noticed a big puddle around the lower patch. You can't draw water. You can't be madla. Madla means to fill a bucket, draw water, and bring it up to the upper level. And water the upper patch. We're going to see soon in the Gemara, in some cases you can actually water even vegetables, even though vegetables are not classified as beis hashalachim. But in some cases you can water vegetables, but provided that it's minimal exertion, minimal involvement. This is too much. Transporting from the lower level to the upper level, Rashi says, the ikatircha yisir. So lo yad lo men atachtoina v'yashke es elyon yisir al kain. In addition, Amar Reb Lezer Ribshin, afilo ruga achas, even if it's one single patch of vegetables, chetzion namuch, half is lower down, v'chetzion gevay, the other half is further up. So we have a bi-level patch. Lo yadle mimakam namuch v'yashke lo makam gevay. Here as well, you can't draw excess water sitting around the lower level and bring it up to the upper level, turn it up on him. When can you water vegetables? Madlan liyirokis. You can water vegetables kedei lo'ichlon. To make them juicier, for prompt usage, for immediate chol hamoed consumption. V'im b'shvili apoisan asa. But if it's just to enhance them, beautify them, for future use, that you can't do. So there's a special heter here. To get them plump and juicy for immediate use, then you could just water it, provided there's not much tircha going on. It's considered a tzarech hamoyed, and that's mutter. There was a story involving Ravina, and also Rabbi Yehuda. They were walking, traveling along. They noticed this fellow, Davidoli Davla. He was drawing water and watering his vegetables. He says, Ravina. He turns to Ravina. He says, let's go put this fellow on cher. Let's excommunicate him. He's doing malacha on chayla moed. Vegetables can't be watered on chayla moed. They're not desperate like the Beis HaShalach. And what's the heter? Amalei Ravina responds, sure you can. Vatani, the Brisa says, madlin li yirakis k'dei lo'ichlon. Look, you can water the yirakis if it's for immediate use. Amalei, Rabbi responds, you have it wrong. Misavras, do you think my madlin, when it says madlin, it means madlin maya? Drawing water? No, my madlin. You know what madlin means? An entirely different thing. Shlufi, extrication. You can extricate, you can pull out. If you have a crowded garden, you can pull out some vegetables. So if it's lo'ichlon, if you're going to eat those vegetables, so you can do that even though you're really benefiting the rest of the garden. You're making it more roomy, enabling proper growth. That's mutter. That's all the Brisa is saying. It could be madlin k'dei lo'ichlon. Kedisnan, as we find, that the word madlin relates to extricating, uprooting, in an overcrowded situation. Hamedel b'gefanim. If he's extracting some gefanim, some vines, Geshem shu medel b'shaloi, just as you can do it in your own area, meaning the vines that belong to the owner, to the farmer, you can tend to them. Kachu medel b'shalani, you can do the same thing amongst the vines that belong to the poor people. Some vines which grow in an awkward manner, they're called oilulas, and they belong to the aniyim. You don't have to be selective in the way you cultivate and tend to your binyad. You don't have to be makbid. You could treat it all equally. Pull out from yours, pull out from aniyim, as you're going along. Rabbi Yehuda says no. You have no right to tamper with a portion that belongs to the aniyim. You can do yours. You can't tamper with the aniyim's vines. In any case, we see the word medel simply means pulling out overcrowded plants. Amalei, but Ravina responds, what do you mean about Tanya? We have a clear brisa which says madlan mayim li rakisei lo'ichlon. You can go ahead and draw water. Madlan mayim, you can water the rakis if you're going to have them on Chol HaMoed. Amalei, he says, okay, put my hands up. Tanya, you presented a brisa, fine. I go along with the Tanya with the brisa. So bottom line is like this. We allow watering on Chol HaMoed. But that's provided that it doesn't involve much tircha. You can use a mayan, a stream, something dependable, accessible. It doesn't involve much exertion. But make kiloin, make geshamim, that's awesome. Now why is it awesome? Make kiloin, that's too deep down, that's much tircha. What about make geshamim? Rabbi Yehuda says it's a gzeir. Today it's make geshamim, tomorrow it's make kiloin. They're pretty much very similar in nature. Just a gathering of rainwater. One thing might lead to the next. According to Rav Ashi, there's no concern of gzeira. Rather, once the meg shamim gets slightly depleted, it's going to start scraping the bottom. It's like kilain, which involves tirch. That takes us to the next case. What about naharis hamoishchen mayim and agam? You have something flowing forth from a rainwater, a pond, a rainwater lake. It would be asr. Once again, there's a gzera. Today it's this, tomorrow it's something else. According to Rav Ashi, it would be mutter. Because at this point, lots of water there. It's in Bavel. No, not much concern about depletion. In which case, it's mutter. There's no concern about this leading to something else. And therefore it's mutter. If you have these breches, these pools, which are being fed by a stream coming right through them, you can use them. Because all of the brecha itself is rainwater, but the amas hamayim is providing that constant supply of water. Rav Papa says, provided that most of the field can be watered in one day by the amas hamayim. We had a case of that brecha, that pool, situated between two levels, the upper Beis HaShalach and the lower Beis HaShalach, in which case the upper field is dripping into that pool. You can use that water to water your lower field, provided we meet two conditions. It's still dripping. The upper field is dripping into that brecha. Number two, the mayan is still active. The mayan in the upper field is still active. And the conclusion was, you can water vegetables if the purpose is to enhance them, to make them more juicy for Chol HaMoed use. Continues the Gemara. You can't build these ugiyos around your vines. My ugiyos, what are these things? Rabbi Yehuda Banki. Ugiyos are these round, circular shaped irrigation ditches at the foot of your vine. They have them around the vines, around the olive trees. Tanna mihalchi, you have the same in a price. Elihin ugiyos, what are these things? Badidin, these round circular irrigation furrows, should be karig zeisim at the foot of your olive tree, which should be karig fanim underneath your vine. Eini, is that really asr? But Rabbi Yehuda Shara, Rabbi Yehuda allowed livnei bati titai, the fellow was living in this town titai, lemebad banki lekarmeon, to fashion these circular irrigation dishes around their vines. Like Kasha, their answer is depends when. Habachadati, if it's new ones, you're constructing them anew. That's too much tircha, and that's asr. Habatiki, but if these are pre-existing irrigation ditches, you're just repairing them a bit, you're fixing them up. That's mutter, even on Chol HaMoed. Rav Lezer Nazari Eimer, ein oisnes amma batchil. You can't construct a brand new amma. An amma typically is an amma deep. That's why it's called an amma. It's meant to carry water, some sort of exposed pipe, some sort of irrigation ditch. So you can't construct this amma on Chol HaMoed. We had this before. This amma, it's supplies the city's needs. It's an amma samayim coming through the town. You can't construct a new one on Chol HaMoed or on Shemitah. Why not? Bishleim HaMoed. I understand why you can't do it on Chol HaMoed. Mishum Tarach. It's too much tircha building a brand new amma. Elo Shvi is my time. What's wrong with Shemitah? You're not working the land. Creating a pipeline. Pligiba, Rabbi Zera, Rabbi Abba Ramam. There's a machlekes between Rabbi Zera, Abba Ramam. As to the reason for this is, Chadam, I want to explain. When he's digging this amma, it looks like he's plowing. It looks like he's doing a malacha on Shemitah. He's not really, but it looks. It gives the appearance of such. The other one explains. He's enabling the banks of this amma, the banks of this stream, enabling it for planting. Let's go over to Rashi, around 5-6 lines above our position in the Gemara. It looks like he's plowing l'tzorach shvius. Shari chayfer ka'oider. Plowing, oider, it's all the same thing. That's one pshat. The other one is shemachsher agafel izriya. K'shechayfer amma. When he's engaged in digging the stream, umaniyach offer. Sheba amma, alsfas amma. He takes the displaced earth and puts it near the banks of this amma. Masakin agafel izriya. In effect, he's enabling those banks for planting. He's turning the banks into loose soil, which allows for planting. So either way, it's a problem. It looks like he's plowing. He's actually enabling a zriya, which is a form of chayfer, which perhaps is even a real malach. He says, "V'niras charisha mamish." Or in one pshat he says that it looks like it or it is. So these are the two reasons: plowing or plowing inside. So when he's digging the amma, he's actually plowing. Or the point is, the dirt placement, in effect, is enabling that malking for zriya. Now, why would the Rabbanan disagree? This is Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Azariah. But the Chacham disagree. Explains Tosfos. Kivan da'idei shinoi avelei lav malachi mutar lo shmei charisha. They hold it's not your conventional way of plowing. It's a shina. You see, he's just digging the furrow. They hold it's mutar. It's not called charish. Continues the Gemara on the second wide line. So we have two reasons. Looks like he's plowing in there. It looks like he's enabling the banks for planting. It might be naive. Any difference between both reasons? It would seem like typically all circumstances, all situations would have both reasons. So why give two reasons? Why is there machlekes? Ikebenayu. There is some difference. In a case, if we can come up with a case where one reason would apply and the other one wouldn't. For instance, suppose while he's actually engaged in digging that amma, water comes right behind him and fills the area as he's going along. So if the concern is because he's enabling the banks for planting, that certainly applies here as well. Just because it's water coming through the stream doesn't change this equation. But according to the other sheet, the concern is it appears like he's digging down there in the Amalekah. That doesn't apply because when you're being chayrish, you're plowing your field, you never have water coming to fill up after you. So Lekah, that wouldn't apply in this case. But, says the Gemara, I understand what you're saying, but according to the one that's concerned about the appearance of plowing, so when it fills with water, it doesn't apply, fine. But why wouldn't he be concerned about enabling the banks for growth? Leichush, why wouldn't he agree with the other pshat? And that concern applies here as well. You're right. Even when it fills instantly with water, it would be aser. The difference would be as follows. As he's digging, he takes that displaced earth and sends it far away from the banks. Oh, so in this case, only one reason would apply, not the other. How? The man the Amar is concerned about enabling the banks. Lekah. It doesn't apply in this case. He distributed the offer all around the area. He's not piling it near the bank. He's not enabling any planting. That doesn't apply in this case. That would be mutter. But the man the Amar, if the concern is that it appears like he's plowing in there, that would apply in this case too. Irrelevant, irrespective of where he throws the earth. Okay, but Ulamad the Amar, still, according to the man the Amar, who's concerned about enabling the banks, which in this case doesn't apply, he's not making soft banks. What about the other reason? Leichush, why wouldn't he be concerned about the fact that it appears like he's plowing down there? Answers the Gemara, he disagrees. He's going to hold that in this scenario, he's taking the displaced earth and sending it far away. It doesn't even look like plowing. You don't plow like that. It's not only is he not enabling the banks, there are no soft banks being created. doesn't even give the appearance of plowing down there, because oider nami, when a person plows, kika shakel, any dirt that he picks up, that he turns over, but he puts it right down. Oh, so this is the machlekes. In the case where he takes the displaced earth and sends it far away, places it at a distance, there's no enablement of the banks. All perhaps that would apply. The only concern perhaps is that he looks like he's plowing inside that furrow. So one man Amar holds, yeah, you shouldn't do it. The other one disagrees. He says, in this case, nah. When you plow, when you turn over the earth, when you loosen the soil, it's on the spot. You're turning it over and leaving it there. You're not shoveling it away. So in this case, it wouldn't be a concern. Continues the Gemara. Ameimar, masnila. Ameimar held like the shita of it looks like he's plowing. So even when he's digging an amas amayim, this water channel, it gives the appearance of oider, and it's aser. This is shitas Rabbi Yehuda Nazar. Okay, if so, v'kashilei to Rabbi Yehuda ben Azariah, other Rabbi Yehuda ben Azariah. If so, he came up with an apparent contradiction between one Rabbi Yehuda ben Azariah and the other one. Umi Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Azariah. Is that so that he holds that it's aser kol shenir ka'oder aser when it appears like he's plowing? It's aser. So even when he's actually digging a channel, it looks like oider. It's aser. We have a kasha from a Mishnah in Shvius, where he seems to say otherwise. Oitzer adam is zivloi oitzer. This fellow has lots of animal waste. He doesn't want to give the appearance like he's fertilizing his field on Shemitah. So what is he meant to do with all that waste? Oitzer adam is zivloi oitzer. You can turn his zevel, his waste, into an oitzer, into a storage. He makes this huge pile, in which case it's apparent that he's storing, he's not fertilizing. That's the Tanakam. Rabbi Meir Oyser, he doesn't allow it. And sheyamik shloisha tfachim. You have to make a true indication, a clear signal that it's not for fertilizing purposes. You have to dig a ditch, a pit, 3 tfachim deep, and start piling the waste from down there. In which case it appears like it's not part of the field. Right? Up to 3 tfachim is considered lavud, like one continuous entity. So dig a pit 3 tfachim down and start piling it in there. Or alternatively, you could lift the level. You can make an elevated surface 3 tfachim above the field and pile up there. But let's say he had a bit of waste from before Shemitah. So it's clear that he's storing. You see, he's starting to store from before Shemitah. So it's been established that he's just gathering, just storing. Moisef Allah v'hoilech. In this case, even Rameh would agree. You started before Shemitah. It's clear to all that you're not trying to fertilize your field on Shemitah. You can just add and add without this point of making a pit or an elevated level. Rabbi Yehuda ben Azariah Oyser. He says, no, even in this case where you started before Shemitah, it's still aser. Unless you make a pit or an elevation, or you place the zevel on some bedrock which cannot be cultivated. 1 second. Making a pit? Yamik Shleisha? Digging? On Shemitah? What about Nirika Eider? He doesn't allow making an Amas Hamayim. It looks like he's plowing. How can he say you should make a Yamik Shleisha? You should dig a pit on Shemitah. Answers the Gemara, Rab Zera. Vira Baba Bamamu. They both came to answer the question, the same Amaram as before. Chadama, one explains, Kigan Shehemik. He did it before Shemitah. There's a pre-existing pit there. Of course, on Shemitah itself, you can't do it. Chadama, the other one explains, there it's different. You know why? Zivlei Mechiach Alav. Although typically, digging on Shemitah would be asa. It appears like he's plowing. In this case, it's different. He's surrounded with zevel, with waste. It's pretty clear what he's trying to do. Not trying to plow anything. He's just trying to make a storage pit for his zevel. Continues the Gemara. Chacham say, you can go ahead and fix your amas hamayim. You can fix a collapsed amas hamayim, a stuffed up water channel on Chol HaMoed. Mayim mikokeles. What does the term mikokeles mean? To what extent is this thing in need of repair? Amr Abba, it's as follows. You see, typically an amas hamayim is how deep? 6 tefachim. An amma, that's why it's called amas hamayim. And this thing got stuffed up. It's now very shallow. Originally, this thing was 6 tefachim deep, which allowed for a proper flow of water. Now, it got shallower and shallower, it got stuffed up and blocked up. It's plugged up to the point that it's only a tefach deep. He can restore it to its original depth. It was barely a tefach in depth right now. He can restore it back to 6 tefachim. He can unplug the area, restore it to its former glory. So that's the pshat in the Mishnah. So basically what he's doing is he's digging 5 tefachim down to get it to the point of 6 tefachim deep. Says the Gemara, based on this, we can learn as follows. Pshita, it's pretty clear. In the following 2 cases, it would be us. Even though we're following the same proportion as Rabbi Abba's case. It started 6 tefachim, it lost 5 parts of 6. Right? 5 out of 6 tefachim got plugged up. You're left with just merely a 6th. You can go ahead and unplug and dig out 5/6 to get it back to its former self. So even though in the following cases we're going to be following the same proportions, it will be us, because the situation is a bit different. Pshita, it's clear that if it's chatzei tefach al sheish tefachim, suppose the amas hamayim originally was only 3 tefach deep, which doesn't allow for much water to flow through. It's not successful. It's not a typical. It's not a standard amas hamayim. And now it's merely half a tefach deep. So it went from 3 to a half. How much did it lose? It lost 5 parts of 6. Right? So perhaps you would think it's mutter. You can go ahead and restore it. No, you can't. Even the loy avar maya, loy klumu. Since even when it was unplugged, how deep was it? Barely 3 tefachim. Doesn't allow for much flow. It's not a useful stream. Rashi says it's just a tirchet leitzarach. It's not providing much service, and there's no reason to repair it. Likewise, in the next case, which is tefachim al shnei maser, you had a jumbo, extra deep amat hamayim. Instead of 6 tefachim deep, it was 12 tefach deep, and now it's been plugged up and it's barely 2 tefach deep. So it lost 5 parts of 6, right, of its depth. It went from 12 to 2. Here as well, we don't allow repairing, although proportionally it's the same thing as the case of Rav Abba. It went from 6 to 1. Here it's 12 to 2. No, the katarach tircha yisera. And therefore it's asallah, you can't do it. At the end of the day, you're going very deep. You're digging and digging and digging. So true relative to what it was before, you're not doing much more than your typical amas hamayim, where you're unplugging 5 parts of 6 that are now missing. Here as well, you're going from 2 to 12, which is you're going and clearing 5/6 of the original structure, but it's too much tircha. You're going too deep. It's back-breaking labor. It's us. That's clear. In these 2 cases, it's us, either because it's an inefficient stream or because it involves too much tircha. What about the next case? Tevachayim al shiva mal. You had amas hamayim, which was instead of 6 tefach deep, 7 tefach deep, a tefach more than standard. And it got filled and plugged. It's merely 2 tefach deep, which would require 5 tefachim of excavation, but technically you're going a tefach deeper, which requires more backbending. Is that mutter or not? As far as numbers, you're doing the same as Rabbi Abba's case, which was it started at 6, it's now plugged up, it's merely at 1 tefach deep, you have to go excavate 5 tefachim. Here as well, it started at 7, it's up to 2, you have to excavate 5 tefachim to get it back down to 7 deep. But at the end of the day, that last tefach requires more. Requires a more of a sharper bend, more of a tircha. What would be the halach? Shall we say it's fine? In either case, Rabbi Abba's case and this case, he's excavating 5 tefach, it's fine. As far as the work, it's the same work. Or well, perhaps we can say, here it's worse. Since he's bending down an extra tefach, going all the way to 7, it involves too much tircha, we don't allow a teku, we leave it unresolved. So bottom line is we have 4 cases. We're clear on 3, and we have a suffix on the 4th. You started at 6, it got plugged up, you only have 1 left. You can go and dig 5 to get it back to 6. That's fine. That's the Mishnah. Kokolis b'moed is mutter. You started at merely 3, an inefficient stream. You can't do anything there. You started at 12, and now it's plugged. You can't do it there either because it's too much tircha. You have a suffix in a case where it was 7 and down to 2. You're excavating the same amount of karka, 5 tefachim, but ultimately you're bending down deeper. Perhaps it's more tircha, be aser, teku. Concludes the Gemara. We have some exceptions. In a case where it's a tzerich rabim, a body of water, which is providing the city's water supply, then you could do all kinds of malachim. Tzerich rabim is mutar chalamoid. For instance, Abaye, shara livnei bar hamdach. He allowed the people in bar hamdach l'shchufi nahara to clear the trees that were growing into their river and obstructing the flow. Rabbi Yirmiyah, Shor who he allowed Livnei Sechusa to these people, Lemichr Nahara Tamima, to unplug their Nahar. Rashi says, Lefanis Makar Hamayin Shenistim, some sort of spring-fed river, where the spring was being plugged up. Now unplug that stream. Rav Ashi, Shor Lahu Livnei Bahasa Machasya, he allowed the people of Masa Machasla Duche Nar Burnitz to clear away the obstruction which was blocking their Nahar Burnitz. Omar explained, Kivan the Shasumene Rabim, since the multitudes drink from this water, Kirabim Damu, it's considered Tzerich Rabim, Kirabim Dami. V'tanan Oisin Kol Tzerich Rabim. Even in Chalamoid, one can engage in malacha to service the Rabim, such as clearing their water sources, unplugging their rivers, and getting it going again. Okay, let's do a quick chazar of today's daf. The Mishnah says, Mashkin beis hashlachem b'moyed, because you're avoiding hefsed, and it doesn't involve much tircha. But you cannot use a puddle or water that's deep down, which requires much tircha. Make hilan, some sort of cistern, where the water is way deep in the ground and requires much tircha. That you can't do. Puddles, make a shamim. You can't use that either. Rabbi Yechon says this is exerted because it might take you to make hilan. Rav Ashi says the puddle itself eventually dries up and you have to start scraping and bending. That is a form of kilan, a form of excessive tircha, and it's us. In Babel they had these ponds with water flowing from them. Naharis hamoshchem nagamin. It's us. There's a gzera. It might dry up. You might go elsewhere to find water and transport it over here, which involves too much tircha. Rav Ashi is not concerned about gzeras, and there's no real concern of drying up and depletion. Bavel is so saturated with water. Let's assume he'll be safe with this nahar. A brecha, a pool of water in which rainwater gathers, can be used in a chalamoid provided there's an amas hamayim, a stream running through it, which can provide, according to our papa, most of this field's needs. We have this brechas and tefas mayim being supplied by a drip coming from the upper field, can be used provided there's still that drip ongoing and the upper mayan is still supplying the upper field with water. You could even water some vegetables in order to have them ready for chalamoid consumption. Ugiya surrounding Gefanim. Those circular irrigation ditches can be repaired but not constructed anew. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't go ahead and construct a new water channel, a new Amas Hamayim. Whether on Chol HaMoed, Tircha. On Shvius, we have two reasons. Nira Ka'oider, looks like he's plowing in there. Second reason is, he's Machshir Agafel Izriya. That loose earth deposited around the bank, around the edges, are enabled for Zriya. That too is a malach. Let's say he's digging and water is immediately filling up that ditch. Well, Eider doesn't apply in this case, but Machshir Agafel Izriya does. What about if he's transporting the displaced earth at a distance far away? According to the Shita of Eider, we're still concerned because it appears like he's plowing in there. The other Shita disagrees. That's not called your typical Eider process, where you're just overturning the earth, loosening the soil, leaving it on site. So in this case, it wouldn't be us. We said that according to Rabbanon, you could be masakin and amam mekulkeles on Chol HaMoed. What is mekulkeles? It started at 6 deep. It's now at 1. You can excavate it, restore it to its original depth. It started at 3, now at 2, leave it alone. It started at 12. It started at 3 and now at a half, leave it alone. It started at 12 and is now at 2, leave it alone. It started at 7 and is down to 2, take. Concluded with many incidents of Amoraim allowing the city dwellers to clear, to unplug their water sources. Tzarchei Rabbim can be done even on Chol HaMoed. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.